The Aprilia RS 660 factory, everyone. Welcome back to another video on this fantastic motorcycle, which has very kindly been provided by Fraser's Motorcycles. We'll talk more about them in a little bit, but this bike continues to surprise me, you guys. The original was fantastic. It's such a great bike, but would I seriously take this over an inline 4 600? What's funny, you guys, is that whilst we were shooting our ride review of this bike, I was already trying to ponder this very question, because I really love this bike. I loved the Tuono 660 and the original RS 660. They are genuinely amazing bikes, you guys, and I heavily encourage you not to overlook them. But that's the thing, I keep going back to 600s and just thinking, well, if I really like this bike so much, would I actually put my money where my mouth is and buy one over a 600? I mean, when this bike is capable of things like that, it does make you wonder. The throttle response on this bike is on point. The performance is on point, especially for everyday street riding. In a lot of ways, this is the perfect middleweight super sport that you can buy right now. It's that good. But before we try and start answering this question, alright, for the viewers that are not aware, alright, let's just explain the differences, because this is a 659cc twin cylinder engine, or inline 2. Alright, so you've got two cylinders side by side like this. Sorry, I just swore at you there, sorry. Two cylinders like this, there you go, I swear at everybody else. And you've got inline 4s, which generally take the form of 600s or 599cc. I mean, there are some exceptions to that, like the 636 from Kawasaki and the CBR 650R from Honda. Those are also inline 4s, but traditionally inline 4s, so you've got an engine that is 4 cylinders like this, and usually they are very performance driven engines, the inline 4s. You don't normally see this level of performance in parallel twins or inline 2s, not really. This is quite a special bike. So the only ones really that are coming to mind that are performance oriented are this and the Yamaha R7. We'll do a video about those two bikes a little bit later on, but that's really the difference. So parallel twins are designed to be producing more torque, which arguably is what you're going to prefer for everyday street riding. Torque is that immediate thrust that you feel where you're holding onto the handlebars for dear life. That's torque. Horsepower is usually designed for speed. It's the power that you feel at the top end of the RPM range. And usually inline 4s are very good at producing loads of top end horsepower, but they're not usually that great at producing mid-range torque. Whereas parallel twins like this traditionally are very good at producing torque in the low to mid-range RPMs, but then they tend to drop off a little bit in the higher end RPMs. So they don't really feel as much power as you go through the RPMs, whereas with 600s, that's where you feel all of the power. This video was made possible by Fraser's Motorcycles. If you live in the Gloucestershire area or the surrounding counties here in the UK and you're looking to buy a new or used motorcycle, definitely go and check them out. They've got plenty of stock available, a huge showroom, and plenty of demos for you to test ride, just like this one right now. So definitely go and check them out. I'd really appreciate it. Fraser's would really appreciate it. And when you do visit, don't forget to say hello from me. So the argument always tends to boil down to torque versus horsepower. What is better for everyday street riding? Traditionally, cruisers are producing a lot of torque and not a lot of top end horsepower, and traditionally super sports are producing a lot of top end horsepower but not a lot of torque. And there's so much variance in between you guys as well, alright? Like, that's a very crude explanation, but in effect, those are the real world differences. But you are going to find outliers where you are going to find inline fours that are producing a lot of torque and horsepower, and like this, where you're producing a lot of torque and a lot of horsepower, but it's a parallel twin. So there's lots and lots of variation and lots of flavour out there, lots of spice for you to try. And that's the beauty of bikes, you guys. Like, no two bikes are the same, even when they're running the same engines. It seems like they're not the same, because even if you have, say, if you put this engine, well, let's take the Tuono for example, right? So the Tuono basically has the exact same engine as this, but this one's producing a little bit more horsepower. But let's say you're riding Tuono. It feels more torquey. It feels like you're getting more of that holding onto the edge of your seat experience. And that's because of the ergonomics. The ergonomics are different between this bike and the Tuono. If you're sitting more upright, I tend to feel more torque out of the bike. So there's loads and loads of different aspects to a motorcycle that make it feel fast or that make it feel fun. There's so many bits and pieces that manufacturers can play with to cater the experience to, well, all sorts of different riders. Yeah, so usually the difference between a parallel twin and inline four is that one is producing a lot of torque, or a nice amount of torque that you can use every day, whereas inline fours, they tend to be not producing as much torque, but they're producing a lot of top-end horsepower, which is good for top speed, or traditionally that's what it's for. But then you have the outliers like this, where you're getting the best of both worlds, and these are the unicorns. These are the bikes that I think most people are looking for. Bikes that are producing torque that is usable for every day, so you can have fun when you're riding sensibly, but you also have the power there if you want it for when you're riding a little bit more spiritedly, alright, when you are on those B roads, and or maybe on a track or something like that, you know, you still have that performance there on tap if you ever want it. And yeah, a motorcycle like this gives you that. So it's I'm going to try and answer this question as fairly as possible, okay? But I would take, so this is where I put my money, I think I would take a 600 over this, an inline four. Alright. The thing is that even though 600s aren't really producing a lot of torque below 5,000 RPM, where they are producing torque and where they are producing the horsepower is still accessible, even though they're usually geared quite long, right? Even on my Yamaha FZ6, which is running the same engine as the R6, but it's detuned a little bit, so it's not producing as much top-end horsepower. It still redlines at 14,000 RPM, and I'm still able to get to 60, or well over 60 mile an hour in first gear, which I can't do on this bike. But within that RPM, within that gear, within first and second gear, I'm able to use 100% of the power. And most riding that I do, I'm able to use 100% of the power of a 600, or the SZ6, or it could be a CBR 600RR from Honda, it could be a ZX6R from Kawasaki. I'm able to use all of the power from those bikes. So, like with this, I'm able to use all of the power of this bike. It just doesn't have as much of it. Which is crazy to think, because yes, it's got more displacement, sure, okay, it's got more CCs to play with, but those extra two cylinders and that extra RPM, when it comes to 600s, make all the difference. All the difference. And that's the trick. That's why 600s are so beloved by the motorcycle community. That's why people absolutely love that class of motorcycle. And it's the same reason why people love the ZX4R from Kawasaki, because that's a 399cc inline 4, so it's a small bore, a small displacement inline 4, so you get 4 teeny tiny pistons all firing very, very fast. That bike redlines at 16,000 RPM, if I remember correctly. We've got our ride review of that bike, so definitely go and check it out. And that's so much fun, you guys, when you have a bike that screams at you, and you're not really going crazy fast either. That means you're able to make use of all of that power. So I really enjoyed the ZX4R. I think that's a crazy fun bike as well, even though it's a small bike. But in the real world, performance-wise, in the real world, everyday street riding, you've got the Ninja 400 from Kawasaki, right? That is, again, a 399cc, but it's a twin-cylinder engine. It's a parallel twin, an inline 2, as opposed to the ZX4 RR's inline 4. And you'll actually find that the 0 to 60 times, the parallel twin is actually faster in 0 to 60. Not by much, by maybe a few tenths of a second, if that. All right, it's not that much. It's not that much faster, but it's a quicker bike, and that's an inline 2. And I suppose that's another topic for another day. You know, would I take a Ninja 400 over the ZX4? I don't know. I don't know. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss that. But I think I'll definitely ponder that one. But okay, so I've already said that I would take a 600 inline 4 over this. Let's take a specific bike. So let's take my 2003 Honda CBR 600 RR. So a very similar kind of bike to this. It's a super sport, similar colours. I mean, it's old. It's an older bike, but I think I would still buy that over one of these, which is a shame because this bike's got so much to offer. But it is expensive, and it doesn't quite give you what a 600 can. Alright, not really. It tries so hard and it's so close, it's so nearly there, but it can't do what a 600 can do. And that's what it boils down to, really, you guys. The fact that if we were having this discussion between a big inline 2 1000cc, or maybe a V-twin 1000cc, and an inline 4 1000cc, I think that's a much tighter race. But for me, it's quite clear cut. I would always take an inline 4 at this weight class over a parallel twin. That's not to say that I would never buy a bike like this, or this bike in particular, at some point in the future. Jesus Christ. He wasn't concentrating, was he? Oh, you gotta be so careful, you guys. Gotta be so careful. Luckily, the Brembo system on this bike is sick. It's on point. This bike's brakes are so good. But that's the thing that you're missing out, right? If I get an older inline 4 600, I'd be missing out on this awesome brake system. I'd be missing out on this awesome suspension. I'd be missing out on all of these awesome tech features, and they really are awesome, and they make the bike so good. Like, the throttle response on this bike is insane. Woo! See, I gotta slow down because that's the thing. This bike's so quick, man. You don't realise how quick you're going on this bike, and that's what a 600 can do. A 600, you can go so fast on a 600, way faster than you think you're actually going. But that's the magic. That's the magic of them, you guys. They're that good. 600s, man. I mean, everyone loves 600s. Any motorcycle rider you speak to will more than likely, 90% of them would take a 600 over a parallel twin, an inline 4 over a parallel twin at this weight class, at this 700cc displacement. That's usually the way it goes. Alright. So, but that's the reason why. That's the reason why. But if Aprilia can keep up at this, or if Yamaha can keep up at this with their R7, or if other manufacturers with their parallel twins can keep up with the development of these parallel twins, I think it won't be long until we're getting performance that's similar, if not exactly the same, as what we could get with a 600. Alright. Like, even if they had to bump up the displacement to 700 or something like that cc to get the performance, I think it would be worthwhile. I honestly do. So even though at this point right now I would still take a 600 over this, it's very close, you guys. It's a much tighter race than if you asked me this question 5 or 6 years ago. It would be such a clear-cut answer. It would be almost comical to even discuss the matter. But nowadays it's gotten so much closer that I think we are seriously going to have to consider parallel twins going forward in performance-oriented motorcycles. But there you have it, everyone. You guys let me know what you think down in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to leave that like, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. Big thanks to Frasers again for letting me show this bike off to you guys. Definitely go and check them out. But yeah, that's everything from us, you guys. Thank you ever so much for joining us on this ride out. Take care, ride safe. We'll catch you all in the next video. Have a good one.